All right, good morning, everyone. We're back from my Tuesday talk with Brannon Potts, the B2R Investing. So, morning, Brannon.
Morning. How's everybody?
Everyone is good. We got a few people tuning in already. We got Dylan, Hyder. I see Jeff, Victor. So, morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I guess Zuber's daily financial is probably wrapped up. So, hopefully, everyone would jump over here. But this week, our Tuesday talk will be about what is enough, right? That's kind of what you want to talk about, discuss.
Yeah, it's kind of, I always look at Thanksgiving week as a time where I'm slowing down a little bit and kind of a reflection week of things going on in life and where I'm heading and just a good time to talk about those types of things and then following that in here in real estate, knowing when is enough and when when you stop striving. I'm here actually in my truck, and I might show here in a little bit. We're about to start clearing two lots to start construction on two new houses here, and so I'm sitting in the truck waiting. It's like Christmas Day today. I love construction, and I mean, I was up early this morning, ready to come over here and start moving some dirt, watching the guy moving dirt, and we've got some trees to save and just getting started. So I'm excited.
And he is not wearing his wife's blouse tonight. I just want to. I'm always. I told Brandon he should never wear a long sleeve
And I'm
polo
going
or
to
shirt.
make sure I wear it every time I can with you. And I've got more than one, just so you know.
I know I saw another one. Actually, I think on the thumbnail I requested you to send me a picture of yourself. But yes, we don't really wear that out here on the island. So I don't know where Brandon's actually picking them up. But
Well, hey, did you go to your street's ABC store today?
no, I don't have one neck right on my
I
corner.
thought
There,
I thought it was on every single street. That's what I saw.
in the tourist areas, it is. Yeah, definitely.
You got to go to ABC stores if you're going to go to Hawaii. That's just part of life.
If anyone goes to Hawaii, make sure you reach out to me and not Brandon. I'll, I'll tell you where to go. Do not. You don't need to go to ABC store. But
Hey, I'll
uh,
tell y'all a great joke. And I think people laugh with this. Oh, here comes my guy. He's about to start. Um, so we're there in Waikiki, and my wife, I love her to death. She makes so much fun, but sometimes she's so naive. So we're driving one of those tourist buses. Yes, we're in one of those. And the bus driver says, you don't even need to buy your own sunscreen. We have sunscreen in the water. And my wife's just sitting there contemplating, and she's thinking, crap, that guy just ripped us off. We just bought some sunscreen. We don't even have to have it. They have it in the water here. I mean, so this is like 5 minutes later. She says, I can't believe we got ripped off on buying that sunscreen. They have sunscreen in the water. She was, oh, I laughed so hard. God love her. She is so much pure,
so
innocent
she's
light.
not like you. The complete opposite of you.
Oh, I
She's
taught her the ways of the world, buddy.
well, let's kind of get back on topic. But I guess I'm supposed to ask people to please hit that subscribe and like button. Also, go to Brandon's channel, who is streaming. I guess that's what Graham Stephan mentioned to Zuber, that you gotta ask people to subscribe and like to help with the
Absolutely.
algorithm. But Brandon is also streaming, so go check him out there and hit the like and subscribe. I see Chris Wisting. Thanks for tuning in, man. But yeah, let's get back to kind of
Sure.
what is enough. Are you talking more about a long term what is enough, or are you talking about, like you're saying, end of year, the holidays are coming around, like the
Maybe a
the
little bit of both. You know what I see in life, and yes, you make fun of me being a boomer, but I'm not a boomer. I'm a late Gen Zer, and but I look at life, and when I'm pressing hard and striving too hard, I tend to make mistakes. And the older I get, the more I've looked back in my life and just have I really don't have many regrets. I think of where I'm at today, and yeah, I made some mistakes and even mistakes in real estate years ago of missed opportunities, but I look at it now and it's made me better at what I'm doing. I have more life experiences because I didn't start acquiring the real estate till I was 53 or 59. I'm sorry, 59. I can't even get it out. I'm getting too old.
Yeah, 59.
49,
Oh,
49. So just less than basically 5 years ago, and to where we're at now, I'm pretty happy with where we're at, happy with life, semi-retired even now, and just enjoy things. And so I've gotten comfortable right now. Now it's a little different with the build to rent because you can't just instantly have rentals because they're taking about 8 months to build them out. So the only thing I'm able to do is acquire the land as quick acquisitions, and then there's a longer process in the build. But I'm doing, I'm now at finishing two properties every year, and I'm happy with that. I think if I pressed too hard, I would make mistakes, and I think because of the process being slow, I'm naturally I push hard. I've done that all my life and have accomplished lots of things, but because this is a slower process, it's allowed me time for reflection and to make sure that every purchase is actually great. And so I've been able to get really good at purchasing the land. Maybe someday I get a piece of dirt that I could put more than two doors on it, or many multifamilies on there. That's a potential, but I'm pretty happy with doing two a year. At first, of course, I was doing one a year. Now I'm doing two a year, but I think that's about as far as I can do. But I'm happy with enough with what I'm doing, and have a smaller number. My intention is to stop at 22 doors. I've got the dirt to get to 19 doors. So I'm not far away, but I'm not pushing hard. And I see, even in different groups in real estate, I see them pressing so hard. And I've found where a lot of times because they want it so bad, they compromise their standards and can make mistakes.
well, I think some people may not realize that they see you doing the build to rent stuff and that, and like you're saying, 20 doors or whatnot, but they also don't realize you have this successful property management business, right? So is that like is like you said, you only started really 5 years ago or so, right? Or trying to
Right.
accumulate the rentals and whatnot. But so what was that thought process? Because it seems like we've talked off camera before. It seems like the business itself is doing really well and it's worth X amount of numbers and whatnot. But so why the transition there?
Well, if you look at, well, let me say what I looked at, and some of y'all know I was in commercial lending. So I was working with some of the wealthiest people in our county and got to sit down with them. Look, I knew their personal financial statements. And so that's where I started realizing where wealth was created. It was both in real estate and a small business. At least that's where all these people were. And so what I went into at first was because I loved real estate even back then, I had to get towards that. It wasn't just an instantaneous thing, though I did buy a duplex. When my wife and I got married 23 years ago, our first purchase was a duplex, and we lived in one side and rented out the other. So I had a little bit, but then I was building out my career and using that career to leverage where I'm at today, of now implementing all of those skill sets. Of I got into real estate, learned the sales side, understood where properties have values. Then I knew I was going to get into owning property, so I opened up the property management company and started that. I enjoy this is now my fourth business, so I guess I'm a little bit of a serial entrepreneur. I like the startups and building these businesses, and I'm leveraging not only the business but the revenue of profits into diversifying now back into real estate, and using it of what I'm learning managing 250 doors. I know that much more about where to build, where to have rental properties, and just all the little nuances of how you make properties perform. I've leveraged all of those skills over the years, and now in the last 5 years implemented it.
Nice. I do want to say also, I do see Hyder's channel in the chat. I also put Jeff, JLD Systems, and Chris Wiston's channel. So go, if you haven't, please go subscribe there and then jump back always here and follow along. I do see
Let
Lynn
me show
tuning
y'all
in.
here too.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all getting ready. They're about to start pulling all. Well, they've got the bobcat out, but they're going to start pushing all the dirt.
And they all have like normal clothes on, not
I
long
know,
sleeve or shirts.
I know, I know.
But I do see a question also from Kyle Dorn, who will be in Vegas, him and the girlfriend. So where did his question go? Oh, here. It says, Brannon, the construction of houses are slowed down in your area? I guess he's asking, has it slowed down the construction side?
Yes. Yeah, and so we're using that as an advantage, and here's why. And you're going to see I'm going to do some filming here in a little bit, but then a series that'll come out on these two constructions next late spring. Because it's slowed down, the contractors are hungry for work, and so we're leveraging that to get better pricing, and it has already begun. Even this guy that's clearing the lots and then eventually will build the pad, he discounted his price another 10% from the last two builds that we did that we finished up this summer. We're building the exact same floor plan, so we know our costs, and so we're using that in all the bids for these subcontractors because they're hungry for work right now. So it's actually helping my numbers because of that, because they're getting aggressive in their bids, and we think even lumber is down. We're getting our bids now that we might be able to save 3-5%, maybe more. And even with what Chris is saying, I'm working on an acquisition of a lot right now. I'm not, when you strive, you tend to pay more too. And so when you're in a position of I'm patient and I'll only buy great deals, the more you go after it and try to hold it on in your hands, it tends to slip right through your fingers. Because I'm not holding on to what I want so tightly, I've been able to get better deals. And there is a lot that I'm looking at right now that I'm even waiting another week after Thanksgiving, and then maybe I'll put the offer out, or I might wait till December 15th and say, hey, I can close by year end. I want it for this discounted price, and use that end of the year as an advantage. They feel that clock because this is the time of the year, the fourth quarter, that you get better deals. And I've done it multiple times, but I'm not so hungry and desperate that I'm going to overpay. I'm only going to buy great deals. Now, this one is already priced at the number I would be willing to pay, but I promise you, I will not pay that. They want it more than I do. I guarantee it. And I'm going to play that against them, and I'm going to get another great deal. And this one, we'll see. I'm going to put it out there. They've got it priced at $15,000, and I'm going to see if I can get it for between 10 and 12.
Chris Wisting is saying, slow down for the holidays. This is go time. I'm heading to a new project to unload materials.
And I agree too. I mean, I'm starting construction, but this is a time when the builders are slower. All the builders in our area are really slow, and I started noticing it especially in the last 3 or 4 months. Because I have the property management company, I have lots of subs that come to our office. I own the office building, and they start coming and asking for work. And I looked at this not as a negative thing of the slowdown. I looked at it as an opportunity and looking where are the opportunities. Well, I knew it was go time to build because these subs are hungry, and I'm going to leverage that to get a good, fair deal. I'm not trying to rip them off, and that's one of the things I always look at, because I'm going to keep these a lot of these subs for years in the future, in the next couple of years. I just want a little bit of a discount. I don't want to extort them. I really believe in trying to do it right, but I want a little bit better price. They get work and they're making money, but I'm making extra money too. So I don't over leverage it and in a sense extort them.
I do want to say good morning to Josh Harville Holmes. I'm not sure if
Yes,
that they're tuning in from your channel.
that is my nephew.
Oh, nice. In your area, doing stuff in your
Yep.
area.
I was just with him this weekend talking about real estate and getting him to look at things too.
Lynn is asking, Brannon, do you think you ever will be able to take over the contractor's job and save yourself maybe 20 to 30% of costs, aka more equity?
Fair question. No, I don't, because two things. There is my builder is cost plus 10. So then only it would save a roughly, because I handle a few pieces of it, his actual cost only cost me about 8%. But if I were down in the weeds of handling the construction, he's spending around 300 hours on the project, and I'm maybe from finding the land to doing anything with it, maybe spending 40 hours. Because I'm not in the weeds, I have time to be looking at the big picture, and I'm looking at land acquisition. I'm making in wealth, instant wealth, what these appraise for. I'm still getting around 20 to 22% instant equity. On my 40 hours, I'm making around $1,500 an hour on the amount of hours I have into it. His 300 hours equals about $50 an hour. So sometimes staying with the big picture and having time to be looking at the next acquisitions is better time than handling the day to day. And you can't see the forest for the trees principle. But that's a very fair question. I just find my better use of my time is handling the big picture and finding new 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 dirt.
Ike Hobbs, who you just had coffee with, I think, on Friday, but he says maybe Brandon says it slowed down. But I was down in Texas last week, and it seems like they have builds going up everywhere.
Well, maybe and that might be his perspective. It's for us, it has slowed down, but we're used to growth. I mean, Texas last year grew almost 200,000 people in the state. We're in an actual place where people want to come, not people leave. And I think Hawaii had a net loss just slightly.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
but
Yes.
so Ike, you're right. In comparison, yes, we have construction going, but it is the number of new builds is slowed down.
Yes, we have always a lot of young families now leaving, moving to the mainland to try and get ahead. People still come here more for retirement, so there's a lot of money coming here, but it's just a lot of the younger families are trying to leave and where their money can go a little bit further. Uh,
Dallas Fort Worth is growing. I think last I saw 485 people a day. New people move into Dallas Fort Worth.
where did it go? Oh, so, a lot of people in the community do follow Dion also, and Dion, I'm pretty sure is going to go live at the same time today. What is that? 4 p.m. Pacific. I know he's traveling, but Janitor on Fire, who's probably all happy about the Cowboys comeback win this weekend, but he has said if you won the game, stop playing. Kind of Dion's philosophy. So what's your kind of thoughts on that?
No, I would agree with that. That's why I've got a specific number. I'm looking at 22 units and believe here in the next 5 years I can get where every one of them average $700 plus in excess cash flow because I'm not going to do cash outs. And that's what I feel like is the number that will work for when I start my full retirement. And even with that, I'm kind of content with our business. And I've shared this before. I'm only working about 15 hours a week within the business. I have good people that are working the business, deciding whether I keep it. My daughter, who will be at the conference, she is coming. She wants to get into the business and real estate, and is going to be a finance major. And so I'm keeping the business because I'm doing well. The business is making multiple six figures. That's what what I'll at least share that. And working 15 hours and having all the flexibility and freedom to be gone for a month, be gone for a week next week, be gone for another week the month after. I do go to the kids' stuff. I've got a good spot, so I'm, I'm happy. I'm not ready to retire. I don't want to. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I have no regrets on the doors. I'm thinking 22, and that's it. That'd be all I need, and let that part of our lives start building up cash flow. We're still in the 5 years of suck of in the middle of it right now.
But your wife thinks you work like 50 hours a week, right?
I try to look like that as best I can. I think I've blown my cover though. She gives me a hard time.
But your nephew is asked, says it's all relative to area and market. I know the bigger builders like DFW based DR Horton is slowing down and reducing the features they're offering.
Yeah, I think a lot of the big builders are only building. I saw a Lennar community. They've stopped adding building new houses, just trying to move the inventory they've got, and then being much slower. But that's a lot of the subs are all out looking for work. If those big builders slowing down is what's helping us the most.
Hey, Brandon's here. He says 20% equity with GC is great. Well done, Brandon. I saw him post a few things on Facebook. I know he finished up some projects. So I'm not sure if he's got them leased out yet, but he hasn't been as active in the community, so he's probably wrapping some things up. I think he should be in Vegas also. Let's see. Okay. I guess you're talking about what is enough for long-term goals, even for the year. Do you have like if you've already hit your 2025 goals, what do you probably do next for the last maybe month? Are you gonna go in kind of a
Total
relaxed, chill
chill
mode?
mode. So
Okay.
the only thing is I've got one lot on the radar, and this could be done for next year. What I'm trying to do is, my plan is 50% of my property or my doors are multifamily, because those are priced, the value of those properties are based off of revenue. And then 50% of my doors in single family, those are priced off the sales, kind of diversifying, still doing builds, but diversify the portfolio's value. But I find that my single families have a whole lot less maintenance or expenses. The multifamilies, I'm still having to do the lawn maintenance and just a few little small things. The single families tend to have way less because they're responsible for the yards, and it also diversifies the portfolio. So they're valued differently. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm choosing to do 50-50 split as best I can, or close to it.
Yeah. I don't know why so many people bash the single family homes, but it's like you're saying, it's the probably the least headache in my opinion. Even like the utilities and whatnot is just pretty straightforward. So,
And they stay longer.
yep.
And that's what I've noticed too. So, I see a lot of people that do, but then you've got John Schaub, the building his wealth one house at a time and buying them one house. I, at this moment, I really like the single family houses better than my multifamilies. Not that the multifamilies are bad. I'm not saying they're bad, but I think I like my single families better. That's just
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I think a while back, and it kind of changes every once in a while. But I do remember Zuber saying if he did have this ideal portfolio or whatnot, it would be like maybe 20 paid off single family homes, smaller single family homes, and that would be like the ideal portfolio for himself. Uh, Yes, Janitor on Fire. No, no Bucky's in Honolulu yet. No ways. But Bucky's is amazing. If you haven't been to one, you have to get to a Bucky's. Let's see what there was. Oh, Brandon says he'll see both of us in Vegas, so he will be there. Let's see. Oh, how many doors is enough for me? Well, I don't know if I have a. I'm always changing. It kind of just ebbs and flows. I think I'll probably get maybe to 25 soon. It depends if I want to pull the trigger on some things. And then from there, it's going to kind of be, I actually might, in some ways, look at a, not necessarily a new market. I've always been looking at North Carolina, South Carolina, because I think that's probably where I'm going to be spending a lot of my time. So that'll probably be where I'll start building more relationships and looking there and so I'll probably get a few more in Pittsburgh and kind of just from there just pay down the debt on those things and then start kind of building another relationships in North Carolina or South Carolina and probably get a few things there. Not a huge portfolio, but just a couple of things there because I'll probably be spending a lot of time there.
And I
Um,
think even for me at 22, that's when I'm going to be done for the most part. But maybe, if some phenomenal deal, I might do it or I might help somebody else do it. And I've thought about that. What if there's a phenomenal deal and I might call somebody and say, "Hey, I got you one because I don't need
mhm.
any more. I'm good." But I will say this: I love building so much, and I know that's not everybody. I'm telling you, it is like Christmas Day today. I'm so excited. I really, it doesn't feel like work at all. It's like, to me, I wonder if it's like an artist building something that they have a passion for. Um, I love it that much. I mean, if I go 6, 9 months without doing new builds, I'm like itchy, and I'm like, I'm like, I want to build one. I love that part. It's just so much fun to me. It's not work, but I'm using what I love to do to build wealth. And I think next steps probably say I'm at that 22. It could be helping others, helping my children, let them do one, if and helping them get their first one that's theirs.
Yeah, so to that point, I do want to say good morning to Jack. Hopefully, you're feeling a lot better. I know you missed your live stream with Lynn and Dylan this weekend because you weren't feeling well. But so Jeff, who's at York, Pennsylvania, says we avoid single-family homes because we prefer to leave them for others to get on the property ladder. But I would also push back a little bit because kind of to what Chris Webb is saying after is I agree with single family home, but multifamily does take away the housing cost for house tax, right? So if you're saying you're leaving single family homes for people to get on the property ladder, I would say the small multis is probably easier or better for someone to get on the property ladder, right?
Yes.
So
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what we did. Our first one, when Mindy and I got married, was a duplex, and it allowed us to get into it and start getting experience with rental properties, but especially even for these Gen Zers, what I've been teaching to them, getting them on that property ladder, that is the way to go. I mean, that's going to be the easiest way to get in because they count 75% of the other's rents into their income to qualify for that duplex or quadplex or triplex. That would be the first purchase, logically.
a little bit pivoting, but Jack is asking, oh wait, Jack enjoys real estate. Did he just change his YouTube name? But he is saying
Yeah,
Cynthia is excited about Friday morning coffee. Just to double check, it's the Denny's on the Strip, not Fremont. Is that correct?
it is. It's the Denny's on the Strip, and I believe it's right beside the Venetian or right real close to the Venetian is where that Denny's is.
Your nephew from your channel is saying, do you see the data centers coming into Hood County being the primary driver of the rental market like it is in Abilene? Once those are finished construction and the workers leave, will that impact?
I don't think I'm picking up those type of renters. So I don't know. But that's I haven't been paying that much attention to it.
Okay. Jack is saying, Brandon, how long are you planning to keep on building? I'm really interested in once I'm getting close to being done with Pittsburgh, looking in your market and maybe buying some off of you, like you've talked about in the past.
I have I have had that thought, even discussed that with my wife of maybe doing one or two. Um, that is potential. I seriously, that is potential here in the next 2 years that I could do one, and I've even mentioned it to Michael. I'm not trying, genuinely not trying to do that to leverage this group to make for me to make money. But I've thought about building one that helps everybody out just because I enjoy building it, and somebody, if the numbers can work for someone. So that is something I've considered because I enjoy building. Who knows? I mean, that could be in the near future in the next couple of years.
So Jeff wants to clarify a little bit. He says we avoid duplexes too. If I am thought all the work to get financing, I want at least five doors, preferably 10 plus. Okay, very good. Let's see. Back to what were we talking about? I was gonna elaborate on something. We were talking about, oh, you were talking about even though at a certain amount of doors, you maybe have a different vision for what the plan is. Yeah, I even thought about that too. Once I hit a certain number, it's more like, if I have like not a fund, but people wanting to invest in Pittsburgh also, like if I could be like their private lender, right, to just help them
Yeah.
get their first one. So that's something I'm considering also too. Once I get a few more, then that would be kind of maybe because I do see a lot of people wanting to get into Pittsburgh, and it's just they're still, like we have someone in Canada looking to invest. If I could fund them privately, it'd be easier for them to get in instead of trying to deal with investing out of the country and then get that first one on their books, and then now they look like an investor, I guess, in a sense on paper, right? So. Um, Let's see. What else we got? I do also want to dig. We're talking about how do you so we're talking about what is enough, right? Oops, where did I go? How do you balance gratitude with ambition at year end?
Sorry.
What is play? What was?
That's my phone. I'm in the truck,
No,
so
I know, but what song was that?
I can't remember. I have a certain ringtone of some song.
Oh, what is mine if I call you?
I can't share that.
All right. So how do you balance gratitude with ambition at year end?
It's been a time. When I grew up and I played college tennis, and I think this is where I was learning this exact principle because I was for a period too aggressive, and that's my natural wiring to be very aggressive and conquer, and it made me somebody I wasn't pleasant on the tennis court. And I finally learned how to channel beating you and still being a friend. but it's learning how to be happy and still trying to get things that I need to be accomplished, but finding the balance. You can be, I think people naturally, they'll find a behavior that they love and they tend to take it to an extreme, and either not doing it is not a good thing, or going too far with it is not a good thing. And so I'm trying to find that balance in life. Here I am about to turn 54 here in a week or so. As you get older, you start reflecting what brings value to life, and it's just relationships and enjoying, appreciating the journey where you are to this very day, enjoying my kids because those days get fleeting and they go start getting so much faster that I'm trying to just enjoy every single day for what it brings, and just kind of, weird stuff happens, of fun things, and you think, wow, that's pretty interesting. And I don't know, I've just gotten more introspective of enjoying life. Yes, I want to accomplish things, but not at the expense of relationships and others. I'm trying to figure that balance out. I'm not saying I've perfected it, but I'm pretty for the first time in my life in the last couple of years, I'm pretty happy exactly where I'm at. And I don't know. It's a pretty unique feeling.
Mick is asking. I believe Mick is in Colorado, I believe. But for those 22 to 25 single family rental goals, what is the target cash flow of each? What is comfortable? And I do believe you come out with your video on cash flow? We talked about it a little bit last week on the live, right? But you were talking, did you come out with an actual video about what is ideal cash flow,
Yeah,
like a break?
I did. I think I've already talked about that. What my ideal starting, you know, because I remember this. I've been in finance and real estate for 30 years. This is the only thing I've ever done. I started out. I was a stockbroker, so I've seen most of the angles. I was a stockbroker. I was a commercial vice president of commercial lending for years. My wife was a mortgage loan officer. Then I was a CFO and started a real estate company, now a property management. I remember when good cash flow was $100 to $150. I remember those conversations 20, 30 years ago. Now I believe the good starting cash flow because of inflation is above 200. And so what I'm trying to do for my starting cash flow on these two new constructions, I'm going to share all those numbers throughout the build and the final numbers, but the early projections are we're going to be, depending on interest rate, and I've got a pretty reasonable interest rate, but I've already been quoted much lower than what I have in my spreadsheet. I'm looking at over $400 cash flow day one on a brand new construction. Most of them have been above 300. These two look to be above 400. So I'm building the same on the single family floor plan. I'm building the same floor plan, so you get a little bit of scale and you know what the cost should be, which is helping me getting bids with these subs. I know what the price should be and what we're trying to get in savings. But that's the starting cash flow. The eventual cash flow, I see the path to $700 a door without doing a cash out refis, maybe just doing refis of the principal pay down with lower interest rates. I see that in the next 5, 6 years. A lot of that is possible getting to $700 a door.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I kind of started, the rates were much lower. So definitely the cash flow was a lot higher per door at that time. And I think I reached the phase now where we're kind of I think Dion talks about it, but he doesn't really like to promote it as much because it's not something you would do in the beginning. But a lot of the properties I'm buying now, I mean, they're not negative cash flow or anything, but they might be like a break even just because maybe there is a vacancy. It could be like a triplex where one unit is vacant, but I'm getting into it now at this time because I see where, me doing a little upgrades or getting it fully occupied where the rents will be. But that's also because I have the reserves and cash flow to weather it while I get it ready. So definitely that's kind of where I'm at in my journey. So that's the last, few properties I'm getting and the ones I'm looking at now. They're probably below market rents, they're tenant occupied, but it allows me to do some work while still getting some cash flow to offset some of the costs. And because I've built relationships too, so a lot of it I'm not funding out of my pocket up front. So a lot of the people I work with in Pittsburgh, so they're funding my deals now, and I'm just paying. Um, so that's what I'm looking at right now. There's a triplex also where it's going to be fully funded, should be fully occupied, but the rent should cover and offset the hard money loan. So basically, I'm going to just get into it, do some work on the sewer lines and everything now. Yeah, I probably won't make any money for 6 months, but then after the 6 months, then refinance out, pay off the lender, and now that's where I'll cash flow on that end. Brandon is saying, Jack, you guys should connect. He wants to continue his build to rent in southeastern Arizona in 2026 and then pivot to Pittsburgh So yeah, Brandon and Jack, you guys should connect. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm not sure if we're having the greatest accountability call on Thursday this week because of Thanksgiving. So it's up to Jack if he wants to still hold that Pittsburgh call on Thursday. Lynn is asking, Brannon, do you also contribute to retirement accounts alongside the real estate investments?
No, I don't. I'm making better returns in real estate and things that I control, so I don't. I'm staying with real estate only right now because this is the time I'm looking at. You focus when you're building the wealth. Doesn't mean down the road I might put something out there. Not saying never, but right now I'm making way better returns, and I'll be sharing some things there at the ORAD event when I speak, and then maybe on a video here soon when I can figure out technology and share
Yeah,
my screen.
we haven't figured it out yet, or
But
he hasn't figured it out yet.
I haven't. I'm trying to get it to show an Excel spreadsheet and it won't do it. But my returns, if you take real actual returns with the equity I build into it, the cash flow year one, and the principal pay down, I'm getting 200 to 220% return on capital year one. And that's just hard to give up. When you only get 7 to 9% real returns in the stock market with compounding and the rule of 72, you stick with, I'm sticking with what I know.
I'm not sure who's on Facebook, but if you guys do follow Anna Kelly, she does have an interesting post recently about her thoughts. That she said she'd never pay off a mortgage early and whatnot, but she is, based on the environment that we're in right now, she's actually looking to sell off some things to pay down mortgages because she feels where rates are, where inflation, the kind of where the economy is at, that the return on paying these down will generate more cash flow for her, and she can always refinance down the road. So it was an interesting post. So
Hmm.
definitely, if you are on Facebook, I would check it out and just kind of see where her thought process is. But like she said, she was someone that always was like, I was never going to pay down a mortgage early, but that was when rates were low, and so. But yeah, it was a very interesting post. Chris Webb is saying, focus builds wealth. Diversify when you have it. Um, Oh, yeah. See, Josh Burdick says, yeah, that was a great article from Anna. Yep.
I'll have to look that up. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, man. I'm not just sending reels all day. I'm like looking for information. There is one. There was a question I did want to ask you. It was, where did it go? Oh, so since you do have your property management, your business side, how can businesses or leaders model the idea of enough for their teams during year-end wrap-ups?
Say that again.
How can businesses or leaders model the idea of like what is enough for their teams during year-end wrap-ups?
Well, one of the things that I do when I set the goals for the team, and I used to always get frustrated of companies that set these goals that were so high that were unrealistic. It actually demotivated people because it was just so absurd. And so, what I've always done is set reasonable, healthy growth, but growth that is sustainable. So, I've been very comfortable, even in our property management company, only growing 3 to 5 doors a month. And then we do a big celebration at the end because I'm wanting to grow and still help serve the owners well. I think these companies that want to grow so fast, you watch not just property management, but other companies, they push so hard trying to please the shareholders. They grow so fast and you watch their service decline. I want to grow healthy, slower, but build out the systems and the resources of the team that our actual service gets better as we grow. That's just the way I've always talked about it.
I'm getting flat now. So Charles is saying, how can it be the greatest accountability group if you skip days? So Jack, if you're out there listening,
Good
I
one,
put
Charles.
I put us under the spotlight. So Jack, if you need me, I can handle the call on Thursday, on Thanksgiving, if you have family stuff to take care of. But let me know. Esther, hey, morning, Esther. I see Esther tuning in. She says people say that there is a housing shortage, but for me, the rental market is slow. Hmm. But for me, the rental market is slow. I think, yeah, I think so. I think that is also, you have to look at it from why um, Jared's rent by room model is getting very attractive for a lot of people. So, typical rentals, one family per home, or one person in a unit or whatnot. I think it is kind of soft right now, that market, but that's why people are looking at the rent by room model, because it is a little more affordable for these people looking for housing or rental units. And that's why some people are feeling that is the kind of the next step in housing. You kind of have any thoughts on that, Brandon?
The only things I concern myself with, I think of recent history of the regulation of short term rentals. I'm not saying I don't know, but I think about that in my thoughts is that here in Texas they began regulating short term rentals in Dallas County, where Dallas is, and overnight the value of those short term rentals went to just regular housing, and they lost a lot of money, these short-term rental people. I don't know if these rent by the room will go that way, but it's in my mind. So I agree, it is helping with affordability for a certain group, and I agree it's needed. It's just, what are these cities going to do down the road with these bad operators? Will they just broad brush eliminate it? And so I think about that. I don't know. It's still, I don't know if it's a brand new model, but it's newer in my perspective of what I've been watching happening. And so I think about those types of things.
Yeah. I think the other reason maybe the rental market is slow is because people are just staying put, and
I
not
think so
taking
too.
that chance, right, to try and look for another place to stay. Because I mean, yes, there's homelessness and people don't have a place to stay right now, but majority of people are probably moving from whether one living condition to the next. But right now, because of where things are at in the economy, they're just like, I'm just going to stay put for now
We're
instead of
seeing
move.
it, and I
Yeah.
see Esther's comment. We're advising all of our owners now: do not raise rents. You get that vacancy and they move, it's going to take double, triple the amount of time it was before to get it rented out. I've even advised certain ones of them to actually offer a less rent because the market is offering a lower rent, and being in jeopardy of losing that person. Because if you're going to go back out on the market, you're going to get a different number. Here in Texas, you're looking at 7 to 10%, depending on the area. Even here in Dallas Fort Worth, that say you go down, and I did it on some of mine. I was in jeopardy of losing some tenants because the market had changed. And it's, you got to do what the let the market dictate. And so I said, hey, the rents have come down a little bit, and I lowered the rent on a property by $50. And 1 month vacancy, I would have lost well more than $50 over that year, that $600. But it put it where the market is. So we're advising our owners. We haven't increased, man, in almost 18 months on anyone, but we went through a period we were. And probably all of us, the people that have been in this for multiple years, the rents went up quite a bit from 2020 to 2022. Then it kind of flattened out, at least in our area, in 23, and then it began declining in 24 and 25. So yeah, you got all that increases over a few years, but it's I think it's starting to stabilize. I feel right now here in this area, but but it has declined over the last year. So we counsel, and that's where I come in, and I'll talk to the owners because I can talk to them peer to peer. And that's what's been really good. Since I own a few, I get more credibility because I'm going through some of the same, if you want to say, pains that they're experiencing, and I can show that empathy and understand it and talk to them in real, genuine terms that I'm not, they trust me, that I'm not trying to sell them something. I'm actually trying to help them. Now, another story, I had an owner that didn't listen to me. He was wanted to raise the rents by, I think it was like $250. And this was a lower priced rental. And so it represented, gosh, more than 25%. It was probably 35% increase in rents. And we looked at the condition of the property and we said, if you'll just go up, we recommended no more than $50 and keep that renter, because we knew the repairs that were coming once they moved out. He thought he knew better than me. He thought he knew so much more than me, this young kid. And he learned a tough lesson. And that person moved out. We did exactly, we wanted it in writing because I didn't want to take responsibility. Put it in writing. He instructed us to tell him $250 more. And I knew exactly what was going to happen is what did happen. And they left. And I projected about $12,000 in expenses. And after she left, it ended up being more than $20,000. And he ended up having to sell the property over it. So, when I'm counseling from the wisdom of owning properties and trying to make sure they're maximizing that property and thinking through not just one aspect of it, but the entire whole picture. What is the right answer for that specific situation?
Yeah. Charles is saying rent by room in a duplex, maybe. Hmm.
I would think that that would be, Charles, that would be a spot, if you've got the parking, that could be a little bit safer if you've got the spot, the amount of parking. And I know Jared talks about that. He looks at that when he's buying properties. He is definitely looking for the parking, because I think you could get a lot of complaints if you don't have enough parking and they're all over the place and upsetting the neighbors. They're going to go to the city councils and start complaining, and then you might get regulated out.
Yeah, I think I haven't spoke to Jeff and Suleika in a while, PTO for life, but I believe they still house hack in Colorado, but they do like a house hack rent by room Airbnb type of model with their current one. So they're maximizing like every space unit available in whatever house hack they're doing right now. So that's very interesting. Josh does say, yeah, I think people are doubling up and moving in together to save money. Yep.
I think we're going to see more and more families, multi-generation families living together, as affordability has it is getting better because wages are growing more than real estate as a whole is the costs are growing. So it is starting to catch up a little bit, but it's going to take several years. But as long as there's unaffordable housing, I think we're going to see more people doing the rent by room, but then also multiple generations living together.
Yeah, that's always been a common thing in Hawaii. So even, well, I
Yeah,
mean,
y'all have that there in
yeah,
Hawaii, but I'm sure you don't say y'all, but
yeah, we don't, but and we don't wear those shirts too, by the way. But what were we talking? Oh, about the. If you guys haven't seen, also, I would check out one of Zuber's. I believe he was talking with Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage, talking about a group of people that recently did a purchase through Stephen Dow. But it was about these five friends, I believe, or five, individuals or business partners. But they've been trying to get an investment property for X number of years. That maybe I think they're on the younger side, but they basically came together and said, hey, this is the plan. We are going to, I think it was $50 a week. Each of us are going to put aside for, I believe, 2 years. So all five of them put this money aside, and they had a down payment for an investment property. So now that's how those five individuals gone into their first investment property. And then, yeah, it was a cool story. So if you haven't, go check out that recent video. We'll wrap things
I'll tell
up.
you another one real
Yeah.
quick. I found a video. I watched it this morning. It's about 45 minutes long. Y'all need to go back. I'm kind of using the Wayback Machine of looking some old videos of Zuber. Um, I found one yesterday that popped up, and I've noticed YouTube will then begin serving up older videos when you start doing that. There was an old interview with Millennial Mike and Zuber from 6 years ago. It's 45 minutes long. It was phenomenal, giving more context. It was really enjoyable for Michael Zuber. He went through his story that much more with Millennial Mike, and his channel was less than 1,000 subscribers at that time. And it was just a really good video to watch.
No, absolutely. I think my last comment review section video that I did with Zuber, one of the questions was who was the greatest investor that he's ever interviewed. And he mentioned a few people. I know Coach Carson and things like that. But I did mention Millennial Mike more from the point that he knew Millennial Mike from pretty much the beginning of Mike's journey, right, and to where he's at now. So, but he said Mike has to retire before he can put him into that echelon. So, but yeah, like I said, if people haven't had a chance, and because I go through the comments, I've gone through a lot of the old videos too. Anyone that wants to start this social media YouTube channel side, just do it. If you go back, Zuber's early videos have like 50 views, 20 views.
Yep, I saw
There,
that too.
yeah, it's and then like he said, he just caught traction and he grew. And that's what me and Brannon, like, yesterday, Cody Davis is my Monday guest. Brandon's my Tuesday. Tomorrow I have Lauren and Joel back on, my Wednesday regulars. And for now, Emily, if you guys don't know Emily Lopez, she'll be on Fridays. She's been on Zuber's channel recently. But yeah, it's get started. Just do it. I mean, it's like I said, if you go back, he was getting 50 views a video, right?
He
And
was doing all of his, the first 100 or so, he was using PowerPoint for every video. And then he mentions that even in that interview that he switched it up. It's been very enlightening just to also keep me motivated on my channel of why I'm doing. And they were talking about the mission of the why they're doing it, and it's very similar, of just trying to make an impact and sharing what they've learned in their journey to help others.
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Brandon is my Tuesday guest. So I always love connecting with him. It's always a fun time. I do want to kind of wrap it up. I know we were talking about what is enough, coming up to the year end, and I think that's going to be kind of my topic also on Friday with Emily. But I know your most recent video, Brandon. So everyone go check out Brandon's channel, go subscribe. But his most recent video was about the 5 years of suck in investment real estate. Is it financially worth it? Do you want to give a quick little recap?
Yeah, just talking about, now mine are new construction, so I don't have repair headache, but it's really, I'm there, and I'm thinking I don't feel like I've accomplished a whole lot, because the revenue in the last 5 years hasn't grown a whole lot because rents have kind of flatlined. So I'm making a little bit of cash flow, but I'm just believing in, and I can see the future, that the first 5 years they suck because you don't feel like you're accomplishing anything. And I think of the iceberg principle. It is, you just can't see it yet, but it's happening.
Yes, Josh Burdick says yes. Zuber's early couch videos were great.
Yes.
And I think at one point he had like purple hair. I was thinking of coloring my hair, but that is not going to work. Yeah. But yeah, anything else you want to wrap it up with? What do you
I
got
think
plans for Thanksgiving? What are you doing?
just with family. We've got a lot of family here, and it's supposed to be raining again, so they're trying to get these lots cleared before all the rain comes Friday evening, and just spend time with the kids. I've got a daughter at college, so she's coming home today, and Mindy and I are just going to spend time with the kids and family.
Is what, two daughters, right? Are they both
I've
coming to
got
Vegas?
one daughter's coming. I've got a freshman in college, a senior in high school, and then an eighth grader. So the senior in high school is going to come. She's the one that has interest in the financial stuff. coming on board with the property management. She's the one that's helped me pick a lot of the colors and some of the materials on these builds. So she has some interest in that, and she's excited to spend some time and hear Cody Davis. I've promoted that quite a bit to this Gen Z group, and I actually have another couple that's coming flying out to support me, that they're going to bring their son. And fun fact, he was one of the guys last year I've mentioned when I was teaching financial literacy at the high school. He was a senior then, and I think I piqued his interest. He's going to be coming.
Nice.
So
So
this is from
people,
one of the schools.
yeah, people don't know what we're talking about. Zuber did open up, I believe, about 20 spots for kids, teenagers to attend free to the event. I'm not sure how many people have actually reached out about it. I'm assuming probably at least around 10 or so now.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's only a few spots available. So if you have anyone interested, message Zuber, and I believe you're also going to get the kid teenager will have an opportunity to have a one-on-one with
Yep.
Cody Davis. So that's going to be super cool too.
With Cody and
And
his wife there, because his wife
yes,
has properties too. So
that's true. Yeah. So I believe Cody and Ashley will also be doing a actual interview podcast with Zuber probably in the
yep.
studio in Vegas. I do want to wrap things up with I did mention to Zuber there were people asking about because he talked about it on I believe when he filled in for Dion. And I know that yes, I do identify as a teenager, so I'm attending free for the event. But Brandon, you have mentioned you are working on a book, I believe. Is your plans to put it under the one rental at a time
You know,
branding like he was talking about?
I think that's the ideal, because I believe in this group and it fits with the culture. And I think, I put a timeline that I don't think is realistic at this moment in my life with kids and everything. But here in the next couple of years, I'd love to have that finished and be part of that one rental at a time book series, a lot like what Kiyosaki does. He had all those authors underneath his brand that fit the culture of what we were teaching. So I hope so.
Did you just say 2 years?
I know I'm going to keep spreading it out.
Uh,
I was
well, um,
looking at it the other day. I was looking at my notes and saying, okay, I need to work this over this next 6 weeks, kind of getting some more things organized on it.
hey, hi, Nicole. We are wrapping things up soon, so if you have any questions for Brandon, shoot it in the chat. But we'll get that maybe to 1 year. We'll put Yasik on you. We're gonna tell Yasik that Brandon needs to get his book out there in 1 year, and he will hold you accountable.
Well, I'm scared. One of the things, if y'all seen me post stuff, I can't write well. God did not give me that talent. I can interpret numbers, but that's some of the hardest thing for me is to write. Though I know it and can speak it, putting it on paper, I tend to write in run-on sentences, or I use the wrong there. And, I do a lot of editing when I write even posts, because I just can't. I know what I'm saying, and I'm struggling putting it out there. So y'all see me write and see some weird stuff that I write. Know that that's just, I can't.
No, I hear you, man. So all my emails now, I use the Gemini polish to
Yes.
send
Yeah.
it out. So if you meet me in person, it'll probably be completely you're like talking to a different person compared to my emails.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, this was a fun one. Thanks for doing this. Hopefully the weather holds up and you can break ground or clear the lot.
Yeah, they're making some progress. I can't wait to get over there and see what they're doing.
All right. Well, if I don't talk to you, you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And everyone, I will see you folks tomorrow with Joel. Lauren will be back. Lauren did purchase her tickets live last week for the Vegas event, so she will be attending in Vegas. And we might have a special guest tomorrow. I'm not sure. I have to confirm if this individual will be coming on tomorrow. Oh, here we go. We'll wrap it up with this. Yasik says can't doesn't exist in my dictionary. So we'll make him hold you accountable for getting that book out there then, Brandon.
There you go.
All right, man. Thanks. I will see you next week then.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.